that you all have joined us this semester. My name is Tanya Simmons Lee, and I am the Executive Director for Counseling Services. This morning, I want to share with you some of the resources that we have within our counseling service. And I'll start out by saying, once you walk into the arena of counseling services, it's kind of like walking into Vegas. What happens there stays there. We are bound by confidentiality, and we're also bound by service, customer service, making sure that the goal of keeping our students until they are ready to be released by way of graduation, either with a certificate, diploma, or a degree, that's when we let them go. So just a few things to share with you this morning. We do offer brief counseling. I'm going to share my screen so that I can show you the web page. Do I have that ability? Okay, thank you. Here we go. So you should be able to see the counseling services website. Let me move this out of the way. And you would get here simply by 2 clicks. And once you get onto the main web page, you would go to student services, and there's the drop-down box, and you come directly to counseling services, and you're there. So once you get here, you'll get a chance to see what all of the services are that we provide. We deal with coping skills. We deal with crisis management, meaning that sometimes you just get to that place to where you're not sure what to do. And for you, that is a crisis. It is not up to us to determine whether or not what you're experiencing is a crisis or not. It's just up to us to help you through that process. Anger management, support groups. We have offered support groups in the past for anxiety, as well as for just kind of getting you unstuck. So we'll call those life groups. And then we do community referrals, and I'll get to that part in a few moments. But going on down, you'll see that this is that space to where if you feel like, hey, I just need somebody to talk to that I know can't tell anyone, that I know is not going to judge me, that I know it's not going to be held against me. And so you could go here and click that appointment. And at that time, you will be able to make an appointment with a licensed professional counselor, someone who has been licensed by the state of Georgia and has gone through the appropriate and adequate training to be able to work with you. So you'll request the appointment, and this is what it looks like. It's just a fillable form, nothing, really intense. You'll put your first and last name, whether or not you're a student or employee, how you would like to be addressed, which campus you're on. There's a drop-down box here. You'll select that. And then what is the area that's causing you some concern right now that may be keeping you from being your best self? So you'll select one of those. And if it's not up there, you get a chance to write it in. You get a chance to use your voice and tell us what the challenge is. Oh, and if you don't really know, it's just this feeling, you can put that there. There is no judgment. How may we contact you? So please make sure you put a number here, because at the time that you complete this, we will not have acquired any type of documentation to allow us to, one, leave a voice message. So if we call and you don't answer, it's not likely that there will be a voice message, because we don't know if that's your phone, your husband's phone. We don't know whose phone that is. We know you gave us that number, but that is not exactly going to keep us from we want to make sure that that's yours and that it's okay for us to leave a message there. And if you want to say that somewhere in there, you can say that it's okay to leave a message. Then you put your preferred email address. We will generally send an email to your school email address before we send an email to an outside like Gmail or Yahoo or AOL. I don't know if people still use AOL, but it's possible. And then down here, tell us what days of the week that works better for you by reviewing your schedule, so that when we do call you, we have an idea of what dates and time to offer you. And that kind of removes some of the stress and the complications to getting you scheduled. And again, if it is okay to leave a message here, you can put that here. It is okay to leave a message at the number above. And then you would simply put request appointment. Okay. So going back, this is a space to where your teachers or instructors or someone who's near and dear to you can submit a referral saying, You know, I think Tanya really needs someone to talk to. I'm not sure what's going on with her, but there have been some changes, and maybe, you know, you can just kind of check in on her. And so they would submit this, and the form looks the same. It's not as many fillables, but it's generally the same format. They'll put their name, whoever submit the referral, if it was your teacher or a loved one, and then they'll put your information and the reason for the referral, which was what I said, you know, she's not, just not herself lately, not sure what's going on. And then they'll submit that referral as well. So referrals for someone who's submitting it on your behalf. A request is you doing it yourself. So we're offering telehealth counseling right now. We're not doing very much in person. If it calls for it, we will, but we'll have to go through a few additional measures. But right now we are doing telehealth. What does that mean? That means like I'm talking to you now through WebEx. We would talk through a HIPAA compliant platform called DoxyMe, and that link would be emailed to you once we've talked on the phone and you've completed the informed consent for counseling, which is this form. Now, it can look a little intimidating, but it's just more words than it is filling anything out. But it's just making sure that you understand that when it comes to confidentiality, when it comes to efficacy, what that looks like. And then you just fill out this back page. That's student information, and it's fillable. Okay. And then you would put your address. That this form is giving permission. This is your consent form for telehealth services. And then once you do that, you would submit the form. Now we have had, I'll be honest, we have had some challenges and technology has worked with it. Some students have had to save the form and then email it. But I will make contact with you and we'll go from there to see if it was received or not. And I do apologize upfront for that. But that's if you are wanting telehealth services. And we can always make amends to where you can come in and fill that form out in the office on the Warner Robins campus. And that office is actually located in the C building right behind the Academic Success Center. So it's C103. That's where we are. So going down, we do have some counseling resources. And for these resources, it's just giving you some information on where you may receive some outside counseling. If you're able to receive that, or if that's what you want to do, we have resources for domestic violence to include the crisis line, Salvation Army. These are some spaces here. Grief counseling, military and veterans affairs are part of those resources as well. Okay. Substance abuse, and then the suicide prevention hotline. Of course, you can always come by and pick up any type of pamphlet or information in addition to that. And since we're still involved with the COVID-19, here are some additional resources that are outside of the college, but that support the college. And that is the emotional support line. And it's where you can just call and talk with someone. There is no strings attached to this line. It's not like you have to give over any demographic information about yourself. It's just a line where you can call and talk with someone. It's free and it's confidential. Okay, it's an emotional support line. And then, of course, we have the GCAL, which is the Georgia Crisis and Access Line. And it too is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every day. And that's if you're in a crisis and you're feeling really overwhelmed. And then again, we have the CARES Warm Line, which is substance abuse. All these are free. All of these are non-intensive when it comes to who you are, unless they're trying to get some help and they may need to get someone to you. Then they'll ask you for information like where are you located right now. Okay. And then you have a peer-to-peer warm line. Okay, there we go. We also have what we call our behavior assessment and recommendation team. And that is where if you see something, say something. So if you notice something on campus and it is of concern for safety, then you would be able to, one, complete this form. It's another form. My apologies for that. Why is it trying to open that? You'll be able to go, it'll take you to the BART page, and then you'll be able to complete the form. If it's something of concern for counseling, you submit it here. If it's something for safety and violence, etc., you go here. And then if it's a conduct concern, you go here. Okay? And of course, if you don't have time to figure it out, just call 911. Here's some additional support services that we collaborate with. And here is the telephone number and the email address for counseling. It's counseling@centralgatech.edu, and the telephone number is 478-476-5167. I know that was kind of a lot. It's all on the page, but I am available for questions. And if you have any comments, or if I also like to ask you as you're coming in and you're learning more about what the services are on our campus, specifically with counseling services, if you would kind of think about some things that you need if it's not available and share it with us. You can send an email to me through counseling services and say, hey, this is something I've experienced. Is it possible for us to look into being able to have something that can help us with this? And we'll definitely look into it and see if we have the resources to either provide that or to give something that fits very closely to it. I'm going to stop sharing for a moment and see if there are any questions and comments or thoughts in the audience. Ms. Gilbert? Are there any questions from any of the students in the audience? Oh, okay, there she is.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you. Okay, yeah, I understand that. I hear the feedback. So tell them they can reach out to me. It is confidential. I do not report anything back to you. No one reports anything back to the teacher because it's their business, and it is like being in Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and they will be working with a licensed professional counselor. And we want to just make sure that they're successful. And there is no shame, there's no judgment, because right about now, everybody's experiencing life. We want to walk through that experience with you. Thank you for your time this morning, and I look forward to getting some of your feedback or your thoughts about how we can better serve you. If there's something that we haven't thought of, we look forward to knowing what it is. Take care of yourselves, enjoy this semester, and be safe.